Will be starting from 17th stanza. Their lot forbade means they were not given the opportunity of doing all the above things which he has mentioned in the previous stanza, either to rule over their country or to become a member of the parliament. Their lot forbade nor circumscribed alone. Circumscribed, to limit or to restrict. Growing virtues, they are growing virtues. Their growing virtues means expanding or increasing their good qualities. But their crimes confined, limited, nor circumscribed nor confined. Not only were the virtues of the countrymen limited, but their capacity for committing crimes and evils was equally limited. If they could not be highly virtuous in their lives, they could also not be persons of evil and crime. Forbid means to check. Forbid, to wade through, to pass through. Slaughter, to kill. Slaughter, killing of people who stood in their way. To wade forbade, to wade through slaughter to a throne and shut the gates of mercy on mankind. Now, to get the throne by killing their rival claimants. The gates of mercy, doors of pity or sympathy on mankind towards humanity. What he is saying, the Gray is saying that though their lot, their fate forbade them, checked them, restricted them, did not allow them to reach to the heights of a king or a statesman or a great man. But then, in political fields, sometimes the politicians, what do? They, in order to reach to the height of the crown, they sometimes go to the extent of killing their rivals also. So he says it's good that, though it is painful that they could not reach to the height because of lack of the opportunity, but it is at the same time good that they remained away from the evil path. Ambitious people do low, petty, mean acts to achieve their ends. They stoop to murder and bloodshed to occupy the throne. They stifle their conscience, अपनी conscience का भी गला घोट लेते हैं. They lose all sense of shame and self-respect. They compose the struggling pangs of consciousness, truth to hide, to quench the blushes of ingenious shame, or heap the shrine of luxury and pride with incense kindled at the muse's flame. Now, the struggling is fighting hard, pangs, pain, conscious truth which was known to them, to hide, to keep secret, to struggling, to quench the blushes of ingenuous shame or heap the shrine of luxury and pride. Conscious truth which was known to them, the struggling, the village forefathers could not hide the pain or the pangs of pain which they experienced sometime in hiding truth. They were truthful. So sometimes when they tried to hide the truth, it was really painful for them. To quench, to extinguish the blush, shyness, ingenuous, free and frank. To extinguish the blushes due to genuine natural bashfulness. The expression quench the blushes is taken from Shakespeare. or heap, to enrich the shrine of luxury and pride, to shine the shrine of luxury and pride of those people who were proud and live in luxury. With incense, fragrance, and other offerings, kindled, burnt, muses flame, poetic inspiration, heap, to put together, flame, poetic inspiration. Here, flame means poetic inspiration, heap, or heap the shine of luxury and pride with incense kindled at the muses flame. Now, flame is poetic inspiration, muse is the deity of poetic inspiration, and he's talking about people living in luxury and pride. Now he says that uh, the people who are rich, who are ambitious, and who want to reach to the height of, say, some great power, then what do? They compose poems full of flattery to honor the rich and great men, so that they may get their patronage. Now he is also talking about the artists, poets, and writers who, instead of writing poetry about common people, they used to write poems which were full of flattery in order to flatter the rich and great men, so that they may get their patronage, so that they can get their livelihood and can live comfortably. The poor villagers were prevented to do such mean acts for getting high post. They did not lose their feelings for truth and honesty. They were not mean flatterers of great mean. So, the struggling pangs of, if you are, accustomed to speaking truth, then if you try to hide the truth, then you feel pain. It's really very painful for you. And sometimes great people, they do all sorts of evil deeds in order to hide the truth, and then they have to face the shame, and in order to extinguish those blushes of shame, they do anything which is very painful for them. But these poor people, they did not, because they never spoke lies, and they never did anything wrong in order to reach the height, they did not face, or they did not experience those pangs of pain in order to hide the truth. And in these these two lines, heap the shrine of luxury and pride. Just as you offer, offerings, flowers, incense, fragrance over the shrine of God, in the same way, luxury and pride. Now he has personified, means those people who are luxurious and pride. So what do poets and other writers do? In order to make them happy, they use their poetic inspiration to flatter those ambitious, or say rich and luxurious people, so that they can get the patronage. Now, far from the madding crowd's ignoble strife, their sober wishes never learned to stray along the cool sequestered trail of life. They kept the noiseless tenor of their way. In the previous stanza, in this coming stanza, he is talking about the fact that because these poor people, they were away from ambition, so they, at the same time, therefore subsequently, they were away from the path of wrongdoing and evil, with the result that they had they spent a peaceful life, which sometimes ambitious people, they lose their peace. Far, at a great distance, madding, busy. Madding here means busy. The thick gathering, madding crowd, the thick gathering of the people who were fanatic, means like mad persons. Ignoble, ignoble, low, strife, quarrels, sober wishes, humble wishes. Learn to stray. Did not go away from the path of righteousness and virtue. To stray is to go, to lose your right path. Cool, gentle, sequestered, secluded, बिल्कुल अलग, separated, vale, valley, vale of life, valley of life. Life has been compared here to a valley which is full of peace. They means the forefathers kept, they spent. Kept here means spent. Noiseless, without means peaceful, without creating any kind of sensation. Tenor, course of life. The poet says that the poor people of the villages were completely, neglected. They had great potentiality to rise, but circumstances did not favor them. They were forced to lead an obscure life. In spite of all this, in the I'm coming to the explanation of the lines. So he says, in spite of all this, the poet feels that they were better than the city people, and because they, they never made any mistake, or they never committed any kind of crime. Here the poet compares the lives of the, in these lines the poet compares the lives of the poor people with that of the urban people, and establishes their superiority over the sophisticated urban people. The cities are overpopulated. Crowds of innumerable people live in cities, but they have no fellow feelings. They breathlessly run after their wishes and desires. On the other hand, villagers lived far away from that crowd which acted madly or in a frenzied way. They were not the slaves of their desires. They lived in calm and peaceful atmosphere. They were free from all sorts of physical temptations. They enjoyed peace of mind and soul. Thus, their way of living was free from unnecessary struggle. This is, the poet, is talking about the advantages that the poor people had over the, rich people. They led a peaceful, secluded life where they were away from the noisy, maddening crowd of the urban city.